Welcome back, everyone. We are on Dark Souls 3 for another Ashes of Ariandel DLC weapon showcase. This time, we are doing Earthseeker Greataxe added in the expansion. The inspiration for this episode came a few nights ago when I was in a streamed fight club. The streamer, by the way, was my friend Itachi. He is a fellow Soulsborne content creator, as well as a good Dark Souls friend of mine. I will leave information for both his YouTube and Twitch pages in the description, so if you would be so kind to check him out, I'm sure he would greatly appreciate that. So I was in the fight club, and I decided to pull out Earthseeker for a few fights, and a number of people were asking, or not asking, really just saying that they wanted to try the weapon out and see how it, make a build around it. And I made the argument that would really be a waste of time because while it looks cool and it certainly has a decent AR, this weapon has a number of pretty substantial downsides that make it a really low-tier weapon, in my opinion. We'll go into that in the video. We'll take a quick look at my build first. I'm on a 125 quality faith build, if you could call it that. And now for the Earthseeker itself. So it is a Greataxe with strength and faith scaling. And really, my build is not even optimized for this weapon. If you wanted to, for whatever reason, to make a build around this weapon, you would just go 40 strength and 40 faith, and then put your remaining points in vitality, vigor, endurance. As for the reasons why I think this weapon is less than ideal, it primarily comes from the fact that its moveset is extremely it has an extremely non-versatile moveset. Almost every one of its attacks is a vertical chop. So in the one-handed, R1, vertical chop. R2, vertical chop. Two-handed, R1, if I couldn't kick. R1, vertical chop. R2, vertical chop. Guess what? The rolling attack. Vertical chop. Back step to R1. Vertical chop. I think you guys get the picture. The moveset leaves a lot to be desired. The weapon art is an AoE ground pound that, while it looks cool, it's just so slow and so telegraphed that you're almost never going to hit anyone with it in a serious 1v1 fight. Maybe in invasions you could do something, but it leaves a lot to be desired as well. One thing that's important about this weapon is that there was kind of a recent, I guess you could say, better understanding of poise. Reddit users Big Hat Logan and Trusty Skeleton both have excellent videos on the subject that I will also post in the description. Poise is actually fairly complicated and kind of goes out of the scope of this video, but for the Earthseeker, you're basically going to be relying on poising through attacks and trying to trade with your opponent. You can see my build here has 20 poise, which I don't know the poise data for this weapon, but I'm guessing that's probably not going to be enough. It's just my build doesn't really allow for it. I could maybe take some points away from faith and put them into vitality, but I think you guys get the picture. That's really all there is to say. I mean, the range is pitiful as well. This is not a good weapon. Not a good weapon, guys. We'll get into the duels and hopefully try to win a few matches, but this is a tough weapon to do well with, in my opinion. You do hit fairly hard. As you can see, two-handing it, I get over 600 AR, but just the moveset is so lacking. Okay. We pop off Bountiful Sunlight here. It looks like he has a curved sword of some kind. It's actually a little bit more of a favorable matchup for this weapon. Alright. You get good damage, but it's so hard to hit people. You don't have a lot that you can do to change up your attack patterns. Eventually he's going to get smart, I'm thinking, and just try to... or maybe not. That's an interesting way to start off the video after I basically spent the first pretty much all of the videos saying how this weapon is not high tier. I think like a lot of things, it really comes down to the skill of your opponent. I should say that this weapon will be very poor up against a player that knows what they're doing. Not to say that that guy was a bad player by any means, but you don't want to be trading with this weapon. It does hit very hard. Excuse me. But just you can outspace it and just take advantage of the fact that the moveset is it's just all vertical chops. Basically, this weapon is just a worse Yorms, in my opinion. Ooh, versus a Pyro. This... okay, hopefully you guys are going to be able to see why this is not a good weapon. Alright, let's get this show started here. Okay, right there. Man. I lost the poise trade there, as you guys saw. He had... Poise is complicated. I won't even bother going into it in this video. But it was his mistake continuing to try to trade with this weapon, which was not a good idea. I'm going to look like... I'm looking so hypocritical. The whole point of this video was to try to showcase why I think this weapon is not all that viable. And we're 2 for 2. But really, it just comes down to hyper-armoring, and poising through attacks, and trying to trade with your opponent. Because there's only so much you can do to mix up the moveset. I mean, you can kind of do some charge timings with your R2 and stuff, but it's severely lacking in versatility. Fight number 3. Moonlight Greatsword. Does not look like he has much in terms of armor. Should be able to win the trade here. He does have a greatsword though, and one thing that the poise discovery found is that greatswords have excellent hyper armor and poise. Okay, so right there, I ran out of. Ooh. That last trade right there, we both depleted each other's poise health bar, and thus we were both staggered. See if we can try to pull out a win here. Nice fight. That guy got the better of me. Forgot to mention the rolling L2 is a kind of smash, I guess you could say. That is your one move that is not a vertical chop, and it just against a good player like that, it's you can't mix up your attack strategy at all with this weapon. So that attack right there, the rolling R1 is your only non-vertical chop. That was a good fight. We'll do a few more duels here. Try to showcase the Earthseeker a little bit better. Perhaps in a more competitive environment. So, leave a comment in the below to sort of, say what weapon you might like to see in future episodes. DLC's been out for about a month now, so I suppose most information on the weapons is probably already out there right now, but... Alright. He's got the Hollow Slayer, which is a hyper armor blending machine. I don't think I'll be able to win the trade. This right here is trying what I'm attempting to showcase. Just the tracking on it, on the Earthseeker, is also terrible. It's just, there's not much you can do. You would think I would hit him there. Nope. I'll deplete all my stamina, but I think it was worth it to get some damage on him. Alright, I'm going to go for the weapon art here. Oh my goodness. I actually hit someone with the weapon art. That's the first time, not the first time, but one of the few times that I've actually successfully hit someone with the weapon art. Man, this is going to be probably my most hypocritical video ever. Because in the start of the video I said you'll never hit anyone with it. I can't believe we're just getting incredibly lucky here with our matchups. Almost every other time when I've tried to use the weapon art, people just see its long wind up and they just roll away, which is what you should do. Oh dear. Well, I hope it's entertaining for you guys at least. Alright, we'll do one more fight. I'll keep this video a little bit shorter. So yeah, the DLC's been out for about a month now. I think probably any information and on any weapons and stuff is probably already out there. But what have you guys thought of the DLC? What are you looking forward to in the next one? Hopefully they'll add a few more arenas. That would be an easy change. Alright, this is going to be a good one to end on. Greataxe battle. Black Knight versus Earthseeker. He has the range advantage on me and probably the damage as well. I just outspaced him there. Which is what I'm going to do here as well. And there you have it. Again, a lot of these fights, I really think... I mean, I know I won the majority of them, but... I'm not trying to speak badly about my opponents, but just take my word for it. This weapon is... It is tough to use in a competitive setting. The moveset leaves a lot to be desired. It's non-versatile. It's bland. I think the Reddit user, I think his name is Dunderbolt, did sort of a reimagining of some changes they could from software could potentially make to this weapon to vary its moveset up a little bit, and I think that would do a lot for the weapon. So yeah, that's going to be a wrap on the most hypocritical weapon showcase I have ever done. Just take my word for it. This is a cool weapon. It hits hard, but it's really not all that viable at high levels of play. Anyhow, thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.